I sat down with 14 members of the Lifesteal SMP to find out if they all think the same. I made 8 statements and had each of them move a certain distance regarding how much they agree or disagree, alongside asking each person why. I do want to clarify that each answer is purely opinionated, as well as the fact that this video was recorded throughout August, and none of the statements are my direct fault. However, I wanted to make more open statements in order to get mixed answers and truly dwell into different lifestealers' minds. With that being said, also I nearly completely forgot. In 10 days time, nominations will be closing for the Crafted Together Award, an award show similar to the Streamer Awards but hosted fully inside Minecraft, Minecraft content creators and Minecraft related things. With 4 categories and 40 awards, you should definitely put your nominations in now. Lifesteal SMP will always be in the top 5 SMPs of all time.
Just because of the history, Lifesteal is just such a prominent group and there's so many creators that are pretty large in the space. I don't think SMP will go anywhere, and because Lifesteal is kind of the biggest SMP now, I think it's probably going to stay for the future.
I think when you have a server that's been up there for the better, like multiple years, it stays consistent throughout its popularity. I think it's going to continue going that way for how long it goes, but even with SMPs that have ended, it's still very well known. Like, there's not going to be something about it that stays up there because it's uniqueness. And I think Lifesteal has that uniqueness to it that can't be replicated for time to come.
I mean, like, I'd like to hope so. I like to be optimistic. All time is a pretty big category, so like maybe there are more servers that are gonna come along and knock us out. But I really think we got a good shot, at least top 5. I think we're pretty cool. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that we'd at least be in the top 5 of all time. Maybe. I don't know though, because there are a lot of servers out there. I mean, I'm very present-minded.
How many SMPs are ever gonna exist or have ever exist that make YouTube videos and content in like a fully committed way apart from us and Hermitcraft? I don't think there's going to be any, because I've said this before, all of us are just like friends and we just enjoy the game and it's fueled by pure like passion. Even if we don't enjoy the game at certain times, we just log on to hang out with our friends. Same thing with Hermitcraft, right? They log on, they have true passion for the game, but the thing that I think separates it is also we just love YouTube, love Twitch, love creating content so much that I think we've cemented ourselves in the top echelon of Minecraft SMPs, and I'd say Minecraft content in general, honestly.
I think it's been going on for so long now, since 2021, so consistently, and I know how dedicated all of the creators are behind the scenes, and I just have a feeling that people are going to continue liking the content, keep watching the content, even a few years from now. So I'm pretty confident that this will be one of people's favorite SMPs when they look back at all of the SMPs they've ever watched. I think this will definitely be in the top 5. I'm very confident about this, and I'm very confident in the creators and just their ability to create amazing and fun content. I'm pretty 100%.
I feel like saying it's going to be in the top is not necessarily referring to the fact it's like maybe the top viewing thing right now, although I'm pretty sure it's at least one of the top ones right now. I'm more so talking about reputation brand as a whole. It's the same way that Hermitcraft or Dream SMP are like now considered generational SMPs that moved entire like generations and were like peak Minecraft content for their times. I mean, Hermitcraft is still going, but they're just kind of transcended, I suppose, ordinary SMPs into being this content conglomerate of sorts that just like everybody knows about. And I'd like to think Lifesteal's at that, considering how views are doing, but also the VidCon and whatever panels we got going on and all the projects we got going on. Do I think it's going to be the most viewing thing of all time forever? Probably not, but I think we reached a state where people will know what Lifesteal is.
All the creators in Lifesteal SMP are so creative and they can just think of so many things. And I know I'm new and I've learned so much from them already for the short period of time that I've been here. So as long as the creators are still as motivated as they are now, I mean, this SMP is just going to keep on growing and keep on growing, and it's just going to keep innovating the SMP space.
I feel like I don't really watch a lot of Minecraft, but if I were to try and think of 5 SMPs that have been generationally impactful for the Minecraft community and really like well known, I can think of SMP Live, Dream SMP, Hermitcraft, Lifesteal, and that's kind of really it for me. I can only kind of think of those 4. So yeah, I do think that we probably will be generationally one of the most well-known Minecraft SMPs, but who knows? Lifesteal only became like a thing in 2021 and was still growing since then, but you never know. Maybe something will come along and we'll just kind of fade out of existence. So you never really know what's going to happen in the future.
Honestly,
honestly, I'm not sure if it's in the top 5 SMPs of all time right now. I feel like there's SMPs that have just had massive impacts on Minecraft. Obviously, there's Hermitcraft, but there's also servers like SciCraft and stuff that have impacted Minecraft in crazy ways. I do think that Lifesteal definitely impacted Minecraft and content in a lot of ways in terms of like playing it super competitively and building crazy redstone contraptions and traps to kill people. But I don't know. I guess I'm not sure if it's even in the top 5 right now. But you know what? I think we could be.
I think it's been around for long enough to make it have that sort of status now. And I think it's going to be around for long enough in the future as well. A lot of SMPs last maybe a couple of years, whereas I think Lifesteal SMP is definitely going to be over 5 years and how long it lasts. Probably closer to 10 years. So I think that longevity that it has is what will put it in the top 5 and keep it in the top 5.
Definitely on YouTube, it's been one of the biggest SMPs in my opinion. Next to, I would like to say Hermitcraft, Dream SMP, but it's been active for the past 4 years, and I don't think a lot of SMPs have been active for longer than so many years, rather than Lifesteal has. I feel like once you've been doing something for so many years, you've left your mark, especially if it's been going well for so many years, and especially recently we've been blowing up so much more. So I think there's a lot more to come.
The SMP niche is always changing. I think that Lifesteal came out within the past like 4 years, 5 years or so. And in that time, we've grown a lot. And there have been dips in seasons where there's some not as interesting sections or points at which we're at our peak, so to say. But I think that we're always evolving. I think that new SMPs are always going to come up. There's going to be new players in the scene. Right now, it might be heavy on PvP, but I think in the future, there might be something completely new that we haven't seen before. And we might get pushed out.
I feel like Minecraft has been around for a long time and is going to be around for a long time. It's going to be subjective to each person which SMP is the best. I don't want to toot my own horn and be like, yeah, we're the best of all time when there's so many other ones as well.
I feel like to say Lifesteal SMP being the top 5 SMP forever goes against how Minecraft is in a way, because Minecraft as a whole is a game that I feel like is endless, and to say that one SMP will be the best of all time is insane to me, because I feel like over time there's always going to be a new SMP, there's always going to be a new thing. I feel like the Lifesteal creators will continue to create, and I hope that Lifesteal lasts forever or lasts a long time, but I don't expect it to always be the number one thing, because I feel like if it's always the number one thing, we never see growth.
Lifesteal SMP is the best content I've produced.
Mainly because it's one of the only content I've produced. Before Lifesteal, I didn't really do much other than just like the occasional hardcore stream. And I think since Lifesteal, I've produced way better content.
I think a majority of the content I've made has been on Lifesteal, so it just naturally makes sense for the best content I've ever made to be on Lifesteal. I've done a lot of different things on Lifesteal, and I think a lot of us could say that as well. A lot of us have done like a crazy amount of different things on Lifesteal. I think all of my best work has been on Lifesteal for sure. The videos I'm most proud of, the arcs that I've done that I'm the most proud of, all the storylines I've ever done that I love and obsess over were on Lifesteal. So it just makes sense.
I put a lot of work and storytelling into Lifesteal videos, and that's not something I'd done before with any of my previous videos.
Well, I've made a lot of YouTube videos on things that aren't Lifesteal, and I'm very proud of the videos I made on that. But I do think in terms of like streaming and my second channel where I edited down like stream highlights, I am very proud of the content I made on Lifesteal. And I feel like that's where a lot of the community that would call themselves big Bacon Waffles fans comes from, more than the videos on other servers. So I would say in terms of YouTube videos, I'm not entirely sure. I think Lifesteal is just a part of that. But in terms of growing an audience and sort of a community, I think Lifesteal's been the most important for that.
I'm new to Lifesteal, so I haven't produced too much content on it just yet, but I've also made a lot of other types of videos that I'm really happy with the way that they came out. So while I do think this will become one of my favorite types of content, I just haven't produced enough to say it's my absolute favorite, but I think it'll get there over time.
I think season 6 of Lifesteal, I was probably one of the most impactful players on season 6. I single-handedly brought back Parrot for a day. Because of getting Parrot back on for a day, I raised with the rest of Lifesteal and the community, I think like $10,000 for like trans support, which is like crazy. And I think I've had a lot of unique and interesting streams that no one else on Lifesteal could say that they've done that. But I think compared compared to a lot of things that I have planned, and for like my meeting my online friends vlog, or just like the streams I do with Lifesteal IRL, I think the IRL aspect or other stuff that I do that isn't Lifesteal is probably more better produced than some of my Lifesteal streams. I don't think it's my best quality stuff. I think it's getting there, but it's not the best.
Man, that's such a tricky one because 100% I feel like Lifesteal is what made my career, right? And to some extent, I could say I've made some of my best videos on Lifesteal, but can I say my best videos are on there? I don't even know, because the video that made my channel more or less is my charity SMP video that was the one that got me into Lifesteal. Then I also have all these other, I guess, channel trends going on. I got the 4 Guys 1 Block stuff. I got other SMPs I'll occasionally join. I got events. Like, I'd like to think my content is very diverse, where I definitely have some of my absolute bangers from Lifesteal, but are they my best of all time? I don't know. I like having a spread.
I think that Lifesteal is great for content, so to say. I think that the people on the server, we offer a lot in terms of content for other people, as well as each other, as well as for our own channels. But I think that, again, just like anything, you can make content on anything. Anything can be interesting. I mean, maybe not paint drawing, but I think that Lifesteal is great. It's a great jumping off point for people to kind of feel the community of other people who enjoy it, or just kind of take it as it is and say, okay, what's going on with the server, with the people, the events, and all that.
I mean, what is best content? Some people would say my best content was Bed Wars or Dream SMP or Lifesteal, actually. When I look back at all of my content and everything I've ever done, I don't feel like anything is the best. This is just a really hard and very subjective. So I'm not sure. I don't want to say that any of my content is the best. I love the streams that I do on here, and I think they're so fun and amazing. And maybe in my mind, they are some of my best streams, actually, especially the one where we took over the end. I think that was one of my best streams ever. But I can't make an overarching statement and just say that it's my best content ever, because there's so much content that I've done. That's just a crazy statement. That's a crazy statement.
I think it all comes down to ideas. You could always have an idea that works really well with the server, but you also have ideas that work really well as just like one-off things. So I think in some cases it could be the best content that I've posted, but it's kind of dumb to say that it's the only best content I've posted.
I don't think Lifesteal has been my main focus enough for it to be the best content I've produced, especially with so much hardcore stuff. Like, I think some of the hardcore videos that I've done have been absolutely amazing videos from my perspective. There's definitely been some Lifesteal videos that I've thought I've nailed it with the whole story, presenting it, and done some really, really cool stuff. And I'm really proud of some of the Lifesteal videos that I've made, but I don't think I'd put them above all the other stuff that I've done, because Lifesteal's just a small part of the last 10 years on my channel.
I mean, my niche is Minecraft horror, so that's kind of a gimme for me to say disagree, because I mean, I kind of built my channel on playing modded Minecraft, especially in horror. But don't get me wrong, I didn't say strongly disagree, because I do think I have done some good Lifesteal videos, but I'm trying to get better at it. That's all I'm trying to say. So I don't think it's the best content I've put out, but it's improving.
When it comes to Lifesteal content, I feel like on the server itself, the things that I've been able to do, I've created some really cool experiences, and a lot of the Lifesteal content creators got to be a part of those experiences, because I've always had really cool ideas, but I've not really taken the time to capitalize on that in my channel. I've only made one Lifesteal video, and it didn't perform super well because it was an establishing video. It was the start of something that I had planned to be a bigger series, but I just worked so long on it, and I still haven't posted them, which is a big problem on my end. So when I'm looking at my channel and the content that I've made, I can name several other videos that I think are much better or more cooler narratives because I finished them. But the Lifesteal series, I think, could potentially be one of the best things I've ever made, but I never finished them, and that's on me.
Nothing to do with the server. It's just me and my mindset around the server. I've never fully committed to any one particular server. Like, the most popular videos on my channel are all from various different servers. I don't lock myself down. And content-wise, I feel like I haven't even done like 10% of my potential on Lifesteal, which just means I have a lot to go for, which I haven't in the past couple of years, but I'm excited to actually go for it. It's not my best content, no, but it is really, really good.
Lifesteal SMP will make it past 12 seasons.
It's been going on for 5 years without any crazy issues or anything. So I think and I hope that it will keep going on for another 5 years. I just have a feeling. About it. When you have some people just behind the server that are so motivated, there is nothing that can stop it, truly, in my opinion. Also, not only that, but every year new players join the server and start streaming and making videos. And I do think some people will leave that people would never expect in maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years. But some new creators will come in and fill their shoes and do something amazing that's never been done before on the server. And I think that's why the plugin is so good, because it's so basic, I guess. Like, it's not basic, but it's classic. The plugin is so classic, and anything can be done on the server just with this very simple concept and plugin. It's nothing too complicated, and that's why it's a really good medium to do whatever you want and make any type of video that you want. So that's why I think it will be around for another 5 years, because why wouldn't it? It's a fun concept and a fun server.
I think that coming 7 seasons, I'm one of the people that's been there since the beginning, and it's changed so much in 7 seasons between owners, between events. I think that the really common thread is that the people that have stayed and have joined, we all have really great chemistry. It's a group that we've really refined down to people that we all enjoy each other so much, as both people, as content creators, as everything. And I think that being that kind of state of constant evolving, we will make it super far. I think that we might lose some faces, we might gain some new ones, but we will be a prevalent source of content past 12 seasons.
It's not like a guarantee, but I feel hopeful. I feel like if there's always a group of people who are wanting to continue making content, then the server will always continue going forward. And I think with the people that we recently added, and even people who we still have added, that's their dead set. They're dead set on Lifesteal becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think we could definitely see going up to 12 seasons, even past that.
I just don't see a reason why it wouldn't last that long. I think even if certain people go inactive or don't make so much content, I feel like there's still a few members being added every year, which keep making it newer and newer. Obviously, to get to season 12, you're talking another probably 5 years, but I see no reason why that wouldn't happen. I think I'll still be around making videos. I don't know if I'd still be making videos on the Lifesteal SMP, but if it's still doing well, I would in 5 years' time, I guess. So yeah, I see no reason why it won't make it to season 12. The only reason I would think maybe it wouldn't is if there was an absolutely massive falling out or some massive drama and it was like, okay, we got to stop the Lifesteal SMP, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Even if any drama happened, I don't think it would be big enough or crazy enough for it to take down the SMP. So yeah, I don't see it going anywhere. Will I be part of it for season 12? I don't know. I expect to be at this point in time, but I don't see it not making it that far.
I'd like to hope so. I'd like to hope so. I'd like to think that we could. I don't want to say it's inevitable, but I think it could happen. I really think it's possible.
See, that's such a difficult thing to think about because 12 seasons, I don't even know how long till then that would be because like our seasons vary. Some can be like 4 or 5 months, other ones are a year. 5 more seasons, that could be like multiple years from now. Oh god, I don't like to think about what I'm doing that far ahead, nor do I think a lot of people do because we're very much like in the moment. I will say this, which this may actually be the first time this has been mentioned publicly. Maybe it hasn't. I know we don't like talking about it, but there was at one point where we felt like maybe ending Lifesteal, not because of any drama or anything. It was just because we'd been going for so long and it seemed like there was a disinterest. However, that was a bit ago, and from them, Lifesteal has made a huge resurgence. People have come back. People are making content and streaming on it a lot more. And I'd like to think that Lifesteal as a whole just works in waves where sometimes we're enjoying it a lot more. Other times, maybe it's getting old for some of us. But Lifesteal is a family at this point. We're all friends. And so similar to like the Hermitcraft, I don't see Lifesteal as a friend group or a brand just ending out of the blue, which is why I do believe that we'll keep going, even if sometimes it may feel slow.
Well, again, I think this comes down to the creators who are on it. And I mean, I think Lifesteal could go to 25 seasons, but at the end of the day, Lifesteal is a long-term SMP. Most seasons go for a year, and I think people are going to start getting older over time, but I think it's very possible.
I like to think that Lifesteal and all the content creators in Lifesteal will want to grow together long term, but I don't really know exactly how, because I feel like a lot of the Lifestealers are doing a bunch of different things. A lot of people in Lifesteal are in a lot of different communities. I think that's what makes Lifesteal so strong in a way, because there's so many different faces in the space in Lifesteal. But because of that, it makes me a little more hesitant because there's so many different creators from different spaces that it might break apart and people might go different ways. But I feel like as a whole, no matter where people are, people who are in Lifesteal have stuck with Lifesteal long term. Even if they're doing other projects and other things, they're still Lifesteal members, and they'll go and do something for a few months and then they come back and they're still a part of Lifesteal. So I believe that it could make it 12 seasons, but I don't know. There's always a possibility of change, but I have hope that the Lifesteal creators will want to keep doing cool stuff together long term. That's a long ways away. 12 seasons is like another, what, 6 years?
I think we're all friends, so every season it's always like a brand new fresh start. So say you're having like a bad season, you can then go on a PvP training arc and then be crazy good the next season. And especially with Minecraft updating, I feel like there's always something fresh, so I don't think it's going to be going anywhere.
Yeah, 5 more years. Yeah, I think easily. I don't think it'll remain in the form it is. It's going gonna change in multiple different ways.
Oh my god, I have no idea. Are we even gonna still be friends? We're probably gonna be grown-ups by then, like proper grown-ups, and have real stuff to do in our lives. But maybe, I mean, look at Hermitcraft, they're still going, so I'm not sure.
I think that I have honestly no idea what's going to happen in 5 years. I mean, Lifesteal has been going for 4 years, a little more than 4 years at this point, and it's hard to say. I'm pretty confident we'll make it to season 8 and 9, and I think we got to make it to 10, but I don't know if we'll make it to 12. I think we're all growing up, and there's a chance that maybe we'll want to end it at some point in the next few years, but I have no idea. I can't even say.
Well, Lifesteal started when we were all around like 16, 17, 18, 4 years ago. And right now we do like a season per year. So that would be like 5 seasons ahead of time, which would mean that season 12 would be in 2030. And I don't know, people will be older then. I don't even know if Minecraft will still be relevant by then. 5 years is a long time. So I really don't know. I feel like the group would still be around, but maybe not SMP wise. I don't know.
I think Lifesteal SMP, the survival multiplayer, I think from my knowledge at least, it's like when we add people to Lifesteal, we're adding people to Lifesteal because we think they're good for the friend group. Like this season of season 7, we added Pilly, D-Town Cat, Jojo Solos, and Young Will. Those are 3 people that we have actively well known, or at least majority of us have well known about them. We've hanged out with them in like an IRL setting, or it's like we very, very much understand how they are like. And so it's like, I think the actual SMP aspect, I think eventually will die down. A lot of us are growing up. I think some of us are doing other things, but I think Lifesteal as a friend group will last for a very long time. We're all very, very close. We all hang out regularly on trips. We plan trips and do all that. But I think the actual like SMP aspect, I think might not last another 5 more seasons.
SMPs are more fun when lore is involved.
I think that maybe people don't always agree on the definition of lore, but I would say lore doesn't have to be some dramatic conversation with Undertale music playing in the background. I feel like lore sort of happens whenever you log onto a Minecraft server and start playing a character that isn't entirely you, which is going to be everyone when they log on and record videos and stream. I feel like some people are a little bit more obvious or dramatic with the lore and their character is a little bit different than themselves, but I think that you need to get into the lore of the server to be able to enjoy it. I mean, Lifesteal's lore, before people did dramatic arcs and stuff with character arcs and stuff like that, the lore was that everyone was trying to kill each other, and some people were obsessed with killing other people, and I would say that's just as much lore as anything that other lore servers do. It's just a little bit less roleplay-y in terms of acting and more just playing Minecraft.
I don't think it needs to be scripted lore for it to work, but as long as there's any sort of lore, it's just making a story, and the relationships is truly what ultimately makes or breaks a video, in my opinion. So I guess strictly thinking in terms of YouTube, then yeah, I think lore is very important. I don't know, I think it just makes it more fun because people want to see the drama that unfolds, and something that's very well known among Lifestealers is there's a lot of betrayal and there's a lot of heartbreaking moments, and that's what people look out for.
I feel like lore can be really fun. I enjoy it when there's no scripting in part of it, but once an SMP starts scripting their lore, I start to enjoy it less, because when it's unscripted, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and it just makes a whole new storyline. As much as I really enjoy it, there are pros and there are definitely cons to it.
I don't think everyone would agree, but I believe so, me personally. The opinions on like dramatic lore and stuff on Lifesteal has always been a little split, but I'm always obviously for it. I feel like based on all the stuff that I do, I think that makes sense for me to be for it, because I feel like that does just make the most interesting storylines when things get very dramatic, but some people don't agree.
I think lore is good and bad, because if the lore just sucks, it's just, what are we even playing for? I feel like it's more of like a deterrent than actually wanting to play. But I think with Lifesteal in particular, the lore is normally pretty anarchy kind of lore, which I lean in toward. I like a lot of chaos, and I feel like a lot of the lore is centered around chaos. Last season, there was loads of spawn destruction. I think that's pretty cool. And there was like a little bit of lore behind that.
I feel like SMPs, when it comes to lore adds a lot to an SMP because a person puts a lot of thought into their character and their actions motivations and what they're doing, and it can make SMPs a lot of fun with playing with lore. But I don't think SMPs necessarily are more fun when lore is involved. Lore is very awesome, but not every SMP needs to have it, in my opinion. I think every person can have fun in their own way on an SMP, and that's kind of what makes SMPs themselves fun. So SMPs being more fun when lore is involved, I don't know if I can agree or disagree with that. I feel pretty neutral at it.
I feel like on SMPs there's conflict, and obviously when I have conflict with someone on Lifesteal, I don't actually hate the person, I just hate them in game, and I can differentiate that. Like, sure, there might be times where I will genuinely be upset at a member of Lifesteal because of what they did to me on the server, but then a day later I realized, oh, it was something that happened in game. This is a character thing, so I should not be mad at this. I feel like to have conflict, you kind of have to have a bit of lore. You kind of have to understand that what we're doing are characters and it's not the real person.
Sometimes it's just fun to log on and fight with your friends and have fun with your friends. And honestly, I don't think a lot of Lifesteal is lore. I think some parts of it are lore, but a lot of us aren't even trying to make it that way. A lot of us are just having our normal and regular reactions for what our character would do on the server, or even just how we would react on the server. And I guess just by the nature of it, it could be lore, but sometimes we don't even mean for it to be. It just happens. So I think my favorite part of servers are just having fun with friends and trolling them and doing insane things to get them mad. So that's just my opinion, but I like lore. I don't dislike lore or anything.
I think it depends on the lore. I feel like a good SMP is just stuff happening, and I guess lore is always going to have an effect on things and on what you do, and it's good to have a motivation to do something because they did this to you. I don't know, sometimes just things sporadically happening on SMPs can be just as fun as, oh, this has kind of been a big story arc that's been happening for the whole season. I feel like it's just a balance thing. Like, sometimes it's great when there's some lore and you work off that to do this and there's a reason why you've done that, but then also you just go out to do one thing and something happens you just did not expect, and that also is just a cool thing that happened.
With lore, it really depends on what type of content you want to make, because there's videos that lean more towards an idea and there's videos that lean more towards a character and their journey. So it depends, because sometimes you could have an idea, but then the lore of a server can get in the way of that idea. So it's a matter of balancing. Do you want this idea to shine through, or do you want these characters to see what happens with it? It really varies one way or the other in terms of what you want more from a server.
I feel like lore is such a broad term nowadays, where some define lore as scripted content where you have like these stage scenes of what's going to happen. Other people just define lore as history of a server, and there's not really any pure answer for what lore is. And I play on SMPs where we don't do anything like that. We're not really paying attention to what's going on. We're just there to have fun together or mess with one another. Other times you'll have arcs that span an entire season where in reality it's just you having some drama or some conflict with a person that kind of develops over time, whether that is a war, just a prank, or whatever. I think it really depends. I don't think it matters whether lore is involved or not, whether a season or a server or SMP is enjoyable. I think it just is something that can be enjoyed depending on perspective.
Well, lore takes its shape in many different ways. If you say like super strictly scripted lore, it still counts as lore. But even like completely improv stuff where people just play the game and riff off each other is also lore, because that's a storyline. There's really good lore SMPs that are completely scripted, but there are really amazing SMPs that are fully unscripted. But I think the best ones have a combination of the two. As far as like scriptedness goes, the best ones have a good combination of the two. They know which improvisations to double and triple down on and turn into actual well thought out storylines.
I mean, Minecraft is a game, you don't have to have a story to have fun in Minecraft or on an SMP. I mean, Lifesteal became popular just from people fighting each other and traps. The lore sort of was secondary. It got popular on the PvP aspect, or at least so I've been told.
I think that you can make SMP content without lore that is equally as interesting as with lore. And I think that the rise of the lore between the different teams or the duos and everything on Lifesteal, it's great. No doubt about it. It's a great source of content. It's a great source of making friends on the server, interacting with different aspects of the community. But I think you can easily make entertaining, interesting content by just doing something on your own without lore. Just kind of talking to different people, just enjoying your time on the server. I don't think that intertwining it with a story is necessary for great content.
Lifesteal SMP changed my content journey.
I think overall, I've been friends with everyone on Lifesteal for a really long time. But after actually joining Lifesteal, my content journey definitely changed. Definitely like growth wise, I think it changed a lot. I went from averaging somewhere around maybe 40, 50 viewers to now like averaging maybe 500 to even occasionally 1.5k viewers, which is crazy. And I don't even have to play Lifesteal. I can just be myself and do whatever. I think Lifesteal opened up my name to a broader audience of people that know who I am now. And overall, I feel like I am part of something. I think back when I used to stream before I joined Lifesteal or doing content before Lifesteal, I didn't feel like I was part of anything. I wasn't part of a group or anything. I was just solo. But now that I'm part of Lifesteal, I have a support group. I have friends. I have people that I can ask for help if I ever do need it, content or IRL, like whatever. And overall, it has been basically just super positive ever since I've joined Lifesteal. And I really appreciate everyone in Lifesteal as well. So 100%. Lifesteal SMP has changed my content journey. But I think instead of Lifesteal SMP, it's just Lifesteal has changed my content journey.
Before I went into Lifesteal, I was unsure about what kind of content to do. I was still in college. I was in and out of different concepts of videos, but it was the Lifesteal guys that I met and became friends with where they taught me how to make YouTube content. And from there, I knew I wanted to get into Lifesteal, and eventually I did. Lifesteal as a group just taught me basically everything I knew, and it's with them that I've learned and developed as a content creator, where it goes to show with my channel that a significant portion of it is Lifesteal, and that's because it has been my life for so long, and it continues to be that way. And I do owe a lot of it to Lifesteal, and I feel like I learned most of what I know from there.
To hear from other people who also want to create these SMP videos, just hearing their thought process and all of us just coming together and cultivating ideas on what we could do to make videos better, what we could do to make the server better, it has definitely been a backbone that I follow. Even if it's not an SMP video, there's a backbone of just knowledge and understanding that I've gotten from SMP content that allows me to make videos better than they were before.
I'm guessing this is going to be a bit of a popular answer, but I just think that having a group of people who are creating content with you is just pretty amazing. And I think that that is a big reason of why I'm successful. Just everybody giving feedback, pushing each other, just talking to people about content, all that sort of things has just really, really helped me grow as a content creator. I mean, it's just been awesome to be in a server with people that are a lot smarter than me. And I feel like I probably wouldn't be exactly where I am today without Lifesteal.
Well, for a while, I wasn't sure what was coming next and what was my plan. I was playing Hoplite for a while. I was doing a bunch of different things, but I guess my true Minecraft calling is to play in something competitive and with friends and have fun all at the same time. So when I joined Lifesteal, it was basically the most perfect thing for me. And I was really in a place where I didn't know what I was going to do, what was coming next, but I think I really found what I was looking for, which is really cool.
I wasn't really doing anything too crazy before Lifesteal. I've thought about this a lot, actually. I wasn't really doing anything insane before Lifesteal. I was just streaming and then posting literally once every 2 months, just whatever video. It didn't matter. The quality was not a question at all. But once I joined Lifesteal, that's when I really started pushing myself to make videos as good as these creators that were way bigger than me. And I don't think I ever would have given it my all the way that I have if it weren't for joining Lifesteal. So I really think joining Lifesteal definitely opened my eyes and changed everything for me. I would not be here right now if it weren't for Lifesteal, for sure.
I don't even know where to begin. It changed my content journey in ways that are extremely available to be seen by everyone, but it also changed it in so many personal ways. It changed my life is a pretty fair sentence to say, just because of everything that I've learned and grown and met, both from my personality and from what I want to do on the internet. So yes, I definitely say it changed my content.
Before I got picked up by the Lifestealers on their server, I had no idea what I was doing on YouTube. And once you're around with the greats, people who know their stuff on YouTube, you start to pick that up. And now I've kind of figured out my own way for YouTube. And without Lifesteal, I would not be where I'd be right now with the content I'm making.
I feel like starting off in content creation, the Lifesteal SMP kind of gave me something to push for. I've always been in the Minecraft space, and not necessarily the content space, but I've been in the Minecraft space for almost 15 years now, which is an insane thing to say. But I never started content until I think around 2021. And even then, I wasn't really passionate or pushing for things. I was just making content because it was fun. And the Lifesteal SMP, while I was getting into more content creation and joining more servers, that was the first server that I looked at that I saw friends of mine join into, that it kind of made me want to be a part of it. So I pushed more with my storytelling. I explored more of my creativity trying to join it. And in turn, I spent maybe 4 years of making content, not specifically to join Lifesteal, but I was making content for myself. But if you look at my videos that I actually posted at the time, those videos were Lifesteal applications. Even though they were passionate videos, they were lifestyle applications, and I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those.
I think if I wasn't on Lifestyle SMP, I wouldn't have gone in the direction I did with the hardcore world. I wouldn't really know what else I could do instead. I think streaming on Twitch now is definitely something that if I didn't have the Lifestyle SMP, I probably wouldn't do, or I wouldn't enjoy doing it as much. And I think leaning more into SMP based content is something that I enjoy doing, and I still want to do like hardcore challenges and stuff like that, but I do enjoy it, and it's definitely a slightly different style of content. You've sort of got to tell the story a little bit as well, a little narration, which you never really need to do in other types of videos I've found, just to kind of give a bit of a backstory sometimes. I think it changed my content journey to an extent.
I've always struggled with exactly what it is that I want to do with YouTube because I just have so many wildly different ideas that don't particularly fit one cup of content. But Lifesteal is a very, very good platform to sort of express all those different ideas. So I think in that way, it very much helped. But there's definitely a few one-off videos that I do enjoy making that don't need to be in an SMP. That's why I only agree instead of strongly agree.
I met people I never would have met otherwise if I weren't on Lifesteal, and they've changed the trajectory of not just my YouTube career but also my life, and that wouldn't be the same without Lifesteal.
So before Lifesteal, I was making 100 days content. Before that, I was making texture pack tutorials. So I come from a very weird path to where I am today. And I remember when I got first invited to Lifesteal, it was through Parrot, and they were just trying to make a way to get out of 100 days. And I joined not really thinking much of it. I figured, okay, you know what, I'll make a couple of videos and whatnot. And the videos themselves are not what changed my content at all, because I'm somebody who's gone through periods of inactivity. I'm not the first name that you think of when you think of Lifesteal, but the people that I've met as a result have changed my life. Not only in terms of content, in terms of how I produce my content, how I go about it, who I include in my videos, but really just how I behave. They've forced me to look at YouTube in a very new way that's very just interesting and fresh. And I think without them, I really wouldn't have been as passionate about YouTube as I am today. So I'm really grateful for them and that whole group.
So a lot of the Lifestealers are obviously YouTubers themselves. Like, they make content and they're really smart, and we're all friends. So I've learned a lot from just Lifestealers in general. And I think especially it's a different kind of content. So it might be different for everyone else, but for me personally, I play modded Minecraft, whereas that's so different to doing Lifesteal. It's just a PvP anarchy server. It's crazy. So I would say it has, and for the better.
Lifesteal SMP is the perfect mix of competitiveness and content.
I really truly believe that, because I think that there's a lot of competition just on the surface, not only in terms of PvP, which there's a lot of great PvPers on the server, but also just in general, you know, creating the best traps, creating smart kind of situations where you can kind of prove that you're a powerful player without even needing PvP. And I think that that competitive edge is really present in a lot of people's content, and it really allows us to make very interesting content with each other, regardless of if it is in terms of just killing each other or just trying to be better than somebody else.
A lot of people think that it's really only about PvP, when ultimately it's a platform for making so much different type of content. And while a lot of it does kind of fall back on PvPing and those dramatic fights that unfold, I think at the same time, I mean, you see Jaren freaking making 50 million cookies on a server, and it's totally possible to do that on this because it's really just an SMP, and everyone respects that if you're not all about PvP, then they're not going to make it only about PvP. And people just want to make good videos. People just want to make enjoyable content.
I feel like the whole aspect of SMPs themselves have a lot of freedom with what you can do content-wise. And the Lifesteal SMP is built of a lot of really talented creators. Some of them are competitive, some of them are not. But I think that's kind of the joy of it, because it has this competitive atmosphere of PvPers, which gets a lot of a competitive audience of people who like to see that type of thing. But if you actually take the time to look and get invested in the stories of Lifesteal, more than half of the creators there, they're a lot more down to earth, you'd come to find out. And I don't know, I think it's a really good mix of both. And that's what makes Lifesteal so strong.
It just is. It just is.
It's obviously a little biased for me because I'm on Lifesteal, but I feel like the people on Lifesteal, since we're all also like a friend group and we've been doing YouTube for so many years now, we know what would be great content. We know what would work and how, when and what we should do. There are obviously better better ways of doing the stuff we do, but I think we got it pretty well settled.
I think we do a good job in not bringing the craziest of sweats or competitive people. We have a nice blend of people that care about PvP. We have a nice blend of people that care about other skill sets. But most importantly, everybody on the server is a content creator and a relatively successful one at that. So we all kind of know what makes good content, and everyone tries to do their part to fit this formula that we have developed. And I'd like to think we don't try to harm or throw each other's contents under the bus. We all just trying to like make cooler and cooler things for the server as a whole. And I definitely think that's how Lifesteal has always functioned, is that even when things get very competitive, it's all for this universal content that everyone can be a part of. Some of our largest arcs on the server were parts where we're super competitive against each other. In fact, I'd argue that sometimes it's funny to say that we've hated each other in real life for things happening in content, but once it's over, it's over. We go back to being friends. But in that moment, things get so competitive that it gets real. But once again, we always have that grounded mentality that what stays in content stays in content. We're all friends at the end of the day. And I think that allows us to have a nice balance of content and competition.
I think you need competitiveness to make the server interesting. A lot of players are competitive and everybody wants to get the most hearts or be one of the better players or get one up on other players who are seen as strong players or have that kind of thing attached to them of like, okay, well, I want to get one up on them. So I think there's that good mix of it being good and competitive, but we still focus on content coming first as well. Always, people will put their competitiveness aside if it is for content. They're not going to ever make it so somebody has a worse video experience or just to be like the best player on the server. Okay, I'm going to just keep doing something that is making it worse for all the players. Like we regularly have meetings to make sure that from a content perspective, everyone's getting what they want out of the server and okay, is there anything we can do to help each other to make the content where it needs to be as well? But obviously still keeping that competitive side of it and keeping out any like scriptedness. You know, I think we want to keep Lifesteal as authentic as possible, but we also want to make sure everybody gets good content out of it.
I'm just nearly on the fence, but I think I would teeter towards agree purely because I don't think I could make a better server myself. And I think that it's just a really good mix of very sweaty, but you can go like thousands of blocks out and just live like a single player world. I mean, you can literally do whatever you want on the server. If you're a PvP demon, you'll thrive. If you're single player world Andy, like you'd still do fine. So you just gotta be smart about it. And with minimal book reading, you'd probably be fine, to be honest.
It's hard to balance both competitiveness and content at the same time because if you are insanely competitive, you're gonna kill someone, and obviously killing someone could inadvertently ruin their content. But I mean, that's just how the ball rolls. You just kind of have to roll with the punches. That's kind of a big part of the server, which for some people is negative for the content. For me, I love it. I think it's great, but I don't think everybody would like give it the strongest degree. I think it's a mix. Sometimes things can happen and unfold in a way that's very, very bad for your content, but it really adds to the competitive nature of the server, which I think is good. It's just very hard to balance content and competitiveness. So it's hard to call anything really the perfect mix of it.
Well, I think Lifesteal has worked pretty well in its balance, but saying it's the perfect balance, I think, would be a little bit dishonest because we always have problems with balancing that. It's sort of difficult to balance everyone's content. Some people want to play it like a super competitive server. Some people want to do silly bits. And so it's a bit of a struggle to balance all that. But we're all adults. We're all content creators who want the best for everybody on the server. So we just do our best to make it a place that everyone can create content. But I would not say that it is perfect.
I do think that it's a pretty good balance, but sometimes people do crash out and be like, yo, that actually just ruined my content, bro. Like, you actually just ruined my POV. I don't know if I agree with it, but yeah, I know that some people are unhappy about it, so I can't say it's perfect.
It depends on what you want. Some people, for me, sometimes I really want to play the game and like fight and do crazy, well thought out, long-winded plans and projects. But sometimes I just want to get on and mess around, which I'm not always able to do if not everyone else on the server is also on the same wavelength. So I'd say neutral because both of those exist, but you need to be very good at reading the room and curating your experience for when you feel you want to do one or the other. Because it can go very wrong if you're just waltzing around wanting to just chill and have fun, but other people are not on that kind of timing. But it can also really kill the vibe if you're super bloodthirsty and want to competitively kill people, but they're all just like picking flowers at spawn. So I'd say both of those exist, and I'd say it's perfect insofar as you can get both when you're looking for it, but you can also fail really badly if you don't do it right.
This could be a little biased for me because I'm obviously not one of the better PvPers on the server, but as someone who, when it comes to content, I probably would more likely do like building videos or stuff like that. And when it comes to Lifesteal, it is a very competitive and PV based server. Like that's the whole idea about Lifesteal. You die, you lose a heart, you kill someone, you gain a heart. So when your content isn't really centered around killing people, you end up being killed because you're not trying to kill people, but people are trying to kill you. So you're always kind of slowly falling. And there are ways where it could get very, not bad, but it could end up not going the way you want. But there are other times where things do go really well. But yeah, I'd say as someone who isn't a PvPer per se, it's not as ideal for me.
When playing on Lifesteal, there are some people that will like heavily dedicate themselves to playing as a character. For example, people like Prince Zam, when he goes live and he's on the server, he is not playing as Zam. He's playing as Prince Zam. And I think it's not really that balanced when it comes to competitiveness, because some people like actually play as this character. So even if they want to be competitive, they're like sticking to this character so they can't. And then some people are just playing naturally as themselves, and they'll just be like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, I'm just going to kill or like do whatever and like kill people. Because realistically as well, the server honestly is the better you are, the stronger you are. And if you're weaker, it's just kind of, you're just going to stay weak is how the server runs.
I have moments where I don't enjoy Lifesteal SMP.
I mean, there's a lot of grinding. After you get killed, you have to regrind. That just sucks. It's not fun. I get left out a lot because I don't PvP. It hurts to be left out. And also, editing can be really boring. Doesn't mean I don't like Lifesteal. It's just moments that are not great.
To clarify, I do love Lifesteal, and I love the group. I love my friends, and I enjoy everything. In fact, I own our server network for the public audience and all this. So when it comes to loving Lifesteal, I love it as a whole. But the SMP itself, once you've been part of it for a couple of years, you kind of sometimes get a desire to do something different every once in a while. And once you've had your little conflicts with your friends, like, oh, you killed my dog, insert X amount of times, it sometimes just gets a little bit old. And I feel like Lifesteal at times can be like that. Fortunately, because there's like, 30 of us or whatever, I forget the number specifically, but there's a significant amount of us where we'll always have people that are either a little bit bored at times or more interested at times. Like, it really varies from creator to creator. But beautifully enough, we have an ecosystem where it's fine for people to take breaks. We're very accepting of that. We're not expecting you to invest your entire soul into just doing Lifesteal content. If you want to go and do this or that, you can go and do that. We'll be right here. And nobody's discouraged from doing something else, because Lifesteal is more than just an SMP at this point.
Sometimes you'll just get the short end of the stick. Sometimes things will happen to you where you think it's not fair. You know it's not fair, but it happens to everybody. And eventually you'll be on the other side where you can make an awesome, fun, crazy video on something because you did something like incredible. Sometimes things just aren't fair, but the struggle is what makes good content to a point.
We're very candid about this. One thing that I like about the server is we always communicate. Whether we're enjoying something, whether we freaking hate something, whether we really enjoy something, we all communicate. And I think it's very, 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 very extremely normal to not have a good time on the server, to feel like you even want to leave, to feel like, oh man, what am I doing here? But it's extremely, unbelievably healthy to the point where it overshadows any negativity, to communicate that feeling to people and have incredibly mature and understanding people who respond and validate how you feel and then take steps towards improving it or curating the experience for both of you. And I think that completely overshadows anything. Like, a server that I have fun on all the time just won't last, nor will a server that I never have fun on all the time, because an SMP is like an ecosystem of so many different lives and souls that think of so many things. So the best way to stay around, achieve longevity, is to communicate. And honestly, as simple as it sounds, just listen to each other and actually just be normal friends and human beings that function socially normally. And I think the bar is so low, not just in Minecraft or SMPs, but just in online circles in general, that it's very easy for us to just overcome those moments and get better because of how we handle them and not because those moments exist.
I think season 7, I have a few ideas for what I want to do for season 7, but with how I've played my cards this season, it's not been great. I started season 7 by losing 1 heart, which was totally fine. And then a few nights later, I found an exploit that you could just slash info and look up any player on Lifesteal as long as they're online and find their exact chords, their hearts, and what armor they're wearing. And I found this on stream, and because I found it on stream, if I'm going to abuse it, I should abuse it now at that time. So I used it on the owner and tried to head to him because he was the one that killed me first. With that, the only reason why this got leaked was because people in the community who watched the streams went into like Woogie's stream and and started basically stream sniping and saying, Drab, she's doing this, Drab, she's doing that. And Woogie then tried to use the command, found it, then told Minute about it. And then because Woogie found out about stuff that he wasn't supposed to find out about through his chat, I got penalized for it, which I know I was going to get penalized for it. But I think overall, I think this season of Lifesteal has not been fun as me as a streamer who wants to be able to do secretive things. It's very hard to be able to do secretive stuff without getting caught by other members because of stream sniping. And I think with that, I got penalized 3 hearts for using the exploit, which less than like a week in, when you lose 3 hearts, not even dying, but to getting penalized, and you're now on like 6 hearts. You go to spawn, there's an orbital strike cannon, it's going off, and it doesn't even load in for you, and you're now on 5 hearts. It's just super demotivating to play on. And I think just some days you're just not having fun to play on Lifesteal. Even favorite games that people play, there are just days you just don't have fun with it. Even without what happened to me this season, I just have off days and I just don't have fun on Lifesteal.
I mean, that's just kind of the way content creation works. No matter how much you think you're in control, it's a server, things can happen. There are moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I hate everything, the server sucks. But on the other side of that, there's been moments where I'm really enjoying it. So it's the same way that YouTube is in terms of content. It's a roller coaster. You're gonna have highs and lows, but just know that it won't stay that way forever.
There are times where I can get beaten up like so badly that it just sucks. I just don't want to log on. And I mean, it happens to everybody. It's just unfortunate. And then as someone who has had consistently the most playtime throughout the entire server, it happens to me a lot. I get killed maybe the most on the server, I feel like. I really feel like I die a little too much sometimes, and it like really sucks. It is what it is. I love taking the loss every now and then. I don't mind it. I don't really have an issue with losing. I think if I did, I probably wouldn't play on the server anymore. It genuinely is hard to name a time where I've won, and because of my competitive nature, that kind of sucks for me, and it makes it really annoying, especially when I take a ton of losses back to back. But it is what it is. I just roll with the punches, try to make the best content possible out of the situation I'm put in, and I think it's always worked out really well, and I've always been very proud of what I've done in these moments. So I think there are definitely moments where things suck, but in the end, it's always worth it, I feel like.
Some days it can just be tedious. The seasons are pretty long, man. So say it's like 1 season per year. After like 9 months and like no one's really done anything or not as many people are logging on, it's kind of just, what are you logging on for? Then I would say it's a little bit boring, but starts of season are so lit.
Well, you gotta think of it like you always play Minecraft, and some moments you don't enjoy a certain game as much as other moments. You have like ups and downs. And throughout a Lifesteal season, for example, at the start of the season, everyone really enjoys it because everyone is online. But over time, people log on less, it gets a little dead, and at those moments you can start to enjoy it a little less, which I've had before. And then you take a break or you find other ways to have fun with content creation. There are definitely moments where I don't enjoy it as much, but they always come back later on. For example, new seasons, or you just get people online. But yeah, there are ups and downs.
Well, sometimes Lifesteal just really sucks. If you have something you've been working on and it just works horribly, or I don't know, you're at a low amount of hearts and you just accidentally run into somebody and they kill you, it is just so demotivating in the moment. I mean, because it's a real server, sometimes the videos that you want to make become impossible for the stupidest reasons. Like you get banned to a skeleton when you're waiting for people to come and give you hearts back. And those are the sort of times that you get really mad. But I think without that sort of randomness and competitiveness and being real, it would make the really cool moments that happen despite all that just not feel as cool.
There's a couple of moments that I remember from seasons back where I remember I was just not happy with a certain situation. I remember one of them, I was killed by a dripstone trap. I think it was in season 3, and Parrot killed me with a dripstone trap. And I remember I was so upset because I didn't know that it was for content. He used it in a video, but at the time I thought that he just did it for the joke. And I was so upset. I was so mad. With that being said, I'm going neutral rather than fully disagree or agree, because there's a lot of times where I'm really enjoying myself. But there are those standout moments where I'm like, oh God, that grinded my gears really hard.
I think the closest thing to not enjoying the Lifesteal SMP is if I die, which maybe I die to a player or I die to a natural cause. And that's not me not enjoying it. That's me just being annoyed at myself. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to get back on the horse and I'm going to come back stronger and not let it stop me. So that doesn't really ever make me not enjoy the SMP. And I like doing big projects or grinding stuff out or building farms to do stuff. And I can do a lot of things which maybe not every player on the Lifesteal SMP has this luxury, or it doesn't fit their content strategy, where I can do a lot of stuff just on my own, like single player-y kind of stuff on the SMP. And I enjoy doing that as well. So if I'm going out building farms or grinding stuff, I'll enjoy it. I think one of the reasons people don't enjoy the SMP is not enough's happening, not enough people are online, there's not enough fights, there's not enough lore to lean into and stuff, which doesn't really affect me. It helps if there's stuff going on the server, but I'm more than happy. If nobody logs onto the server for a week, unless I specifically need it for a video for people to log on, then I'm pretty fine with just kind of doing my own thing as well.
I can't remember a moment where I haven't just directly not enjoyed Lifesteal. I feel like for me, I've always been really good at coming up with things to do or coming up with content to do in the moment. And that's something that I like. Going back to SMPs having a lot of freedom, anytime I log on Lifesteal, I always feel like I have a freedom to do whatever the heck I want. And that's fun. That's cool. I could build something. I could go fight people. There's a lot of opportunity for it. And so I've never not enjoyed it personally. I just feel like I'm a very busy person and there's a lot of things in my life that I'm always doing. And so because of that, I often lose a lot of activity and I get out of touch with everything that's going on. But I've never not enjoyed it. I've just kind of felt like something else is taking the priority at the time.
I'm still new, so I don't see why I would not enjoy it. I mean, maybe a slight bit of burnout, I'm sure could affect people, but since I'm still new and just a little baby in this world, it hasn't affected me yet. But I could totally see it affecting other people in terms of burnout. The grind is difficult, and I've already experienced so much grind. So I could see it happening, but for me, not quite yet.
SMPs have become oversaturated.
I mean, SMPs have kind of been around for ages, and I think Lifesteal kind of blew up in 2021. So 4 years later, we're still doing the same thing. Other SMPs are still doing the same thing. I feel like we're reaching a point where a lot of people are kind of just doing the tried and true methods, but that is what's kind of saturating, where most SMPs just kind of feel like more the same. And I think that's what's kind of inspired a certain branch of some Lifestealers like Parrot, Wembu, Spoke, Flame Frags to do a lot of what is called unstable, which is scripted content, because then they could do more, I guess, extravagant events or more curated stories that go above and beyond what everybody else is doing. And I just think that, like any sorts of content, once it's stuck around for a while, it's going to be a little redundant at times. Not saying everyone's redundant, just the type of content as a whole.
I think a lot of people that want to get into content or SMP content, they think that having a unique plugin or a unique aspect to it is what makes you better than the rest of the competition. But the thing is, from what I've seen, is that a lot of these gimmicks or servers that I've seen basically look identical because they think that thing is unique. It's like 100 people trying to do, oh yeah, let's do this, but realistically 50 of them do the same thing, but it's titled differently. It's not unique, it's not interesting, or if it is unique, it's so unique in fact that it's just so hard to understand. Even SMPs that are really well known, when I watch these videos, when they make that their whole gimmick, I still don't understand what these things do. The thing I like about Lifesteal is that, sure, there's a gimmick on Lifesteal, but it's still super easy to understand, which is if you kill a player, you steal their heart, and if you die, you lose one. And that's the whole gimmick. That's literally it. But honestly, I just kind of miss servers or SMPs that just, they don't have to have a gimmick. They can just be totally vanilla. I think Unstable Universe, as much as it's scripted, the story is supposed to be just fully vanilla Minecraft with like a voice prox chat. And I just think that's just totally fine with me. I do think SMPs are incredibly saturated and they're just kind of boring now. We just need to chill on making so many and just go back to just being as vanilla as possible.
I think all content on Minecraft, or 99% of Minecraft content, is oversaturated now. I think everybody's doing everything that's popular. Like 100 Days, oversaturated. Minecraft Hardcore, oversaturated. SMPs, they're oversaturated. There's so many people doing SMPs. There's loads of different SMPs. But there is still a lot of views to go around as well. So I think it depends. Some people will post some SMP content and they will get loads of views. Some people, it's just too oversaturated. You've got to focus on doing something fully original. So I think if you can keep some originality, you can avoid the problem of the oversaturation of the SMPs, but you've got to kind of focus on coming up with new ideas and stuff like that. Like, there is enough views in SMP content to make it worth it and stuff, but there is a lot of people doing that. But I think there's a lot of people doing all Minecraft stuff.
So I'm kind of lucky because I'm not just SMP YouTuber, but I would definitely say a lot of up and coming YouTubers really think joining SMP is like the be all and end all. It's like as soon as you're in an SMP, it's like now you can finally make good content. You can make good content with an SMP without an SMP. And I think everyone kind of hopped on the SMP bandwagon and now there's just millions and millions of SMPs. Don't get me wrong, a good plugin and a good player base will do well, but I feel like everything's been done for SMPs now. Like, it is definitely oversaturated. But Lifesteal, I think, has its own lane, so that will remain untouched, I think.
There's a lot of people nowadays who try to replicate other people in terms of finding something individual about them. And it's not bad. bad to have inspiration. I get inspired off of people, even in Lifesteal. But I think there needs to be a clear idea of inspiration versus plagiarism, I guess. Because I think nowadays a lot of people try to just mimic instead of finding their own voice. And so I think that's why it's fairly oversaturated at this point.
I feel like everyone is going into SMPs with this expectation that it has to be a certain thing, or they go into it with this mindset of content. We have to make this video in this style, or we have to have this SMP with this theme or this gimmick to make it pop. And I don't want to say strongly agree with this concept, because there are a lot of SMPs out there where it is just a friend group just making content together, and that's what's exciting, that's what's fun. As I said, SMPs are a lot about freedom and creative freedom, and I feel like there are a lot of really talented people out there in SMPs who are really trying to make that growth. But that isn't to say that there isn't a lot of SMPs out there that are oversaturating things and trying to replicate what has already been done. I feel like a lot of people see success and are trying to recreate that success, but at the end of the day, you're making stories and videos with friends, and I think that's what makes an SMP thrive. And I think it's oversaturated, but I don't think it will be forever. I've seen it a lot less and less every year, and hopefully in the next few years we see a lot more growth in that.
There are hundreds of SMPs, I agree. But I feel like most SMPs are made by just friend groups or people who want to make videos. And I feel like there isn't such a thing as an oversaturation for that, because everyone is a unique person that wants to make their own content, wants to make cool content. If you're on any SMP and you make cool content, I think that's good. I don't think there's such thing as oversaturation. The SMPs that make really good videos stand out, and the ones that don't. So you don't really see those either. I don't think there's an oversaturation for Minecraft SMPs personally.
SMPs have always been a big thing since the days of Shadow of Israfel. Oversaturated, I mean, there's always going to be loads of SMPs. Maybe it feels like there's a lot, but there always has been, so I don't think it's fair to say that.
I think there will always be SMPs, and there will always be people trying to play Minecraft with their friends. That's just the most basic concept of Minecraft of all time, playing Minecraft with friends, and it happens on an SMP. I think there's certain SMPs that maybe inspired a lot of people to create their own server, maybe for YouTube or for Twitch or whatever, but everyone has an equal chance to pop off on YouTube or make an amazing video. There are some SMPs that are up and coming that they make amazing videos on there, and I think that's good. I think that competition is really good on YouTube. I don't think it's ever oversaturation. It's more just people creating new concepts, and everyone can eat, everyone can succeed. It's never oversaturated in my opinion. And not only that, but look at Hermitcraft. They're doing something completely different than Lifesteal is. Lifesteal is fighting scary, competitive, and there are servers where it's more so focused around builds, and maybe it is a little bit competitive, but builds and friends and things like that. As long as people have their own concepts and vision, I don't really see it as oversaturated. I just think it's people trying to find their own little niche on YouTube and trying to succeed.
This might just be a bias because I don't watch a ton of Minecraft content, but from the SMPs that I know, the format of a lot of the videos kind of is the same. I won't say that that isn't true, but I think that there is a lot of innovation. It can even be slight ways, but enough to kind of warrant a new idea. I know that there's List SMP, Infuse SMP, all these other ones, Strength SMP, Levels, all that. And at the time, I remember I was a little bit salty because I was one of the original Lifesteal members that was kind of saying, oh, those are just Lifesteal copies. But they've garnered their own communities. They've garnered their own staples of the server, characters, lore, all that. That's totally separate from Lifesteal, totally separate from any other SMP. And I think that's why I really disagree. These aren't people that are trying to be us. They're people that are trying to make great content. And some of them might be trying to follow in our footsteps, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are just trying to make great videos. And I see respect in that. I honor that.
It might be true, but I like living my life pretending that isn't the case. And it also just doesn't really matter that much to me either. Like, if there are more people making SMP content, like, that's cool. I feel like that's not a bad thing. I don't really think there are too many people making SMP videos, though. I'm sure there have been times where there have been, but I don't think that's an issue in the year 2025 right now. I really don't think it's that crazy. I don't think it's insanely oversaturated at all right now. And I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I don't think it's oversaturated right now.
Amount of SMPs can be a lot, but I think each SMP, at least creator-owned SMPs, they tend to have their own sort of niche to it or sort of change to it that can be very entertaining for people to watch. So I wouldn't say that that makes it oversaturated. I think there's an audience for all different types of niches, and if you're in a certain niche, you can find what you want. I do think that maybe there's a lot of PvP type SMPs that have been growing because of Lifesteal, but again, there's always going to be a certain niche for a certain viewer, so it's kind of hard to have a direct answer on that, which is why I'm a little hesitant, but that's my stance.
Primarily because I just don't consume SMP content like that. I don't think it's saturated saturated. And I think if you think SMP content is saturated, then that means you're sick of Minecraft in general. And that's a completely different conversation. I think SMPs have transformed so much even over the past 2 years with the way people are combining scripted nature, semi-scripted nature, fully unscripted, fully non-storylined SMPs that do really well. But I don't think it's saturated by any measure. I don't think so. I think it's going to reinvent itself, but I don't think it's saturated. And once we leave and move on to bigger and better things or even different things, there'll be other people to take our place.
I think that oversaturated implies there are too many people doing this, so it can't work. And I just think that's silly because all it really takes for an SMP or an SMP creator to do well is just a unique idea, some friends who are willing to go along with it, and then boom, you have a cool SMP. And I just don't think there's enough of those personally. I think that it's great, all the SMPs that people create. Maybe there's too many named SMPs because half of them nobody plays on. I don't think that should stop anybody from creating an SMP and trying to do something cool. I think that there's so much room for new creators and new SMPs to rise up, and there's always new ideas and new directions you can take it. I think that calling it oversaturated is kind of silly because the amount of things that haven't been done yet are just so large.